What's going on, Christian Nation? We have another episode for you tonight. I have Yelena with me, and tonight we're going to be discussing what heaven's going to be like. You're down in Largo, Florida, and you've told me that you have joined a great church. First, let me see if I got this right. It's First Rock Baptist Church. Do I have that right? So, it's a,
Indian Rocks Baptist Church.
Indian Rocks Baptist Church. So you told me it's a phenomenal church, and I can't wait to go down there and check it out. And there was a great sermon today touching upon heaven.
Yeah, and I
So
just wanted to share some of the stuff because I always, I kind of knew all these things, but when
Mhm.
you break them down, it basically, opens your eyes more and makes you realize like how much better heaven is than we think, you know? And so one of the things that I always and I think you had a question too. You were like asking me about like the 1,000 year reign and like that there's going to be a new
yeah,
heaven on earth. How is that possible? And
yes,
there's actually like two heavens. So there's an immediate heaven where when Jesus was on the cross and the thief said, "Will you remember me when you get to heaven?" And Jesus says, "Today you will be with me." So that's
uh-huh.
like, one of the indications that there will be an immediate heaven. But there's going to be a second heaven because, you know, um, when Jesus comes back on a white horse, he's going to be a victor. He's going to like raise us from the dead and like, you know, um, create a new heaven, a new earth, and the bodies that he's gonna give us, like even though it's gonna be our old bodies, he's gonna create our bodies as like incorruptible, like
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. I think Philippians 3:21 says that we're going to have Christ-like bodies, right? Like Christ, right?
hmm Yeah, it's I think it's in Revelation 8, but maybe it's in Philippians too. I don't. But it's gonna be like how he says it. I like the way that he like said that it's gonna be a Earth 2.0. There's gonna be no more sin, no more death, no more like deceit from Satan. And so like I don't know. It just kind of when you break it down that way, it just feels like you can picture it better or you can understand it better because um you know, you, at first I thought that maybe because God is he doesn't live in time, maybe that's why he says you will be in heaven with me today, so he'll
Okay.
be in heaven today because God is not in time. So, like I thought it was something that I did
I,
not understand. But when you break it down, like there's two heavens. There's the immediate one and then
mm,
the one that Jesus is going to create on earth.
I'm a little confused because some of what I gather is that when we die today on Earth, or everyone who's ever died on Earth through the history of time, that basically we're in like a waiting period for Judgment Day for Jesus to come back and um, raise us from the dead, and then our judgment will be when that happens. So is there an immediate heaven when we die where we go up to heaven, and then the reign on earth will happen over a period of a
Yes.
thousand years where we come down? Where is there, or I'm
So yeah,
I'm
so
I'm I'm
there's an
I'm, I'm,
immediate
I'm
heaven.
confused. I'm
Well, there's an
confused.
immediate heaven where like
Uh-huh.
the souls are like waiting for for Jesus to raise their bodies from the dead and then
Okay.
create a new earth.
Okay.
So but um yeah, so like the waiting period is not like, you're not existing. The waiting period is just in that immediate heaven kind of.
I see.
But there's more like cool stuff that I learned.
Yeah.
Um, if you are okay with me sharing. So Um, so Adam and Eve had a job in the Garden of Eden.
Uh-huh.
So there will be work for us to do. You know, we're not going to just like sit there and like sing or just just be a whole like a big church service and that's it, you know? We're going
Uh-huh.
to have a job to do, but the job will not be like um it won't make us tired. It won't make us like um you know how like when you like do a job too much, you feel like it's
Yeah.
endless. It's not like you don't have a purpose, but this one is going to be a purpose for you. Like, and it's a
Okay,
mission,
cool.
yeah, for you. Um, and there's going to be food, and like we're going to have bodies that like never get fat, that never die, and we're only going to eat for pleasure, kind of. You know, we're not going to be hungry, and so also we're gonna have relationships. We're gonna know people. We're gonna know like the people that we know now, we're gonna see them in
Uh-huh.
heaven.
Wow.
And like so because we're gonna have relationships there and we know that there's animals there in
Okay.
heaven, like we can
So
kind of yeah.
so my dogs are gonna be in heaven with me. Is that what you're trying to say? Sophia and Shiki are gonna be with me in heaven. Is that
Well,
a possibility or what? Because I'm
I know.
wondering.
So animals are going to be in heaven for sure because you know like Jesus rides down on a horse and the Garden of Eden had like all these
Uh-huh.
animals and it talks about the lion and the lamb, and so there's definitely going to be animals, but like animals don't have souls, you know. In the Bible it says that like the animal's soul is in its blood, so like when the animal dies the soul leaves, right? But because like relationships with our pets are so important here
Mhm.
like on earth, we can like kind of hope and kind of like think that why wouldn't our animal be up there too, you know? Just because since we have like relationships with people and like sometimes like we get so attached to our animal and that I think it'll be either like our pets are going to be there or something like different that you know God created for us to
Yeah,
enjoy, you know?
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
in the past there's like my you know, my daughter asks me this like almost every day, is my dog Oliver gonna be in heaven with us? And so that's why he has to kind of like, hey, like we can hope, you know, at least.
Of course.
So also the city that we're gonna live in is gonna be called New Jerusalem. And that's in Revelation 21:9, that we will live in a city and there's going to be roads and there's going to be obviously a garden, you know,
Mm.
and there's going to be like it's not directly in the Bible, but in Hebrews 12 and Corinthians 9, it talks about like how our race, to like our life with God is kind of like a race or like an athletic competition. So we can
Uh-huh.
kind of think that God likes athletic competition. So maybe there's going to be some athletic competition in heaven.
So are you saying that I'm gonna be kicking your butt at ping pong
No,
up in
because
heaven?
because like our bodies are going to be incorruptible. We can't die or anything. So it's going to be even crazier competitions, like
So we're
insane
gonna be doing
ones.
backflips off the table. Like, all right, okay. We don't have to worry about breaking our necks or anything like that. Okay,
Exactly. Exactly.
cool.
It's going to be fun. Um, and so there's also like going to be emotions. There's going to be laughter. There's going to be happiness, obviously. But
It
there's going to
does.
be no,
Oh,
mm?
go ahead. I think we were gonna say the same thing. There's gonna be no crying in heaven.
Yeah, and God, Jesus
Uh-huh.
will wipe away every tear. There's not
That.
going to be any sadness. There's not going to be any greed. There's not going to be like the unrighteous anger. Like, you know, because God does get angry, but he says, do
Mm.
not sin in your anger. So there's not going to be any of that. And So like after this, I have like a trivia for you.
No, 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 no. Yeah.
So like, so God created the Garden of Eden, and He said, "This is good." He created,
Mm.
the earth. He said, "This is good." He created the seas. He said, "This is good." But there's only one thing that He said was not good in the Garden of Eden. What is it?
He said that there was one thing that was not good in the Garden of Eden, and that was I think you told me this today too. It's like I remember this guy. It's like a slow pitch. You did. We discussed this earlier. You did tell me earlier that one thing that was not good. There was only one thing that was not good in the Garden of Eden, and that was um um it wasn't the fruit, right? It wasn't
Well, no, He didn't say the forbidden fruit was bad. He
knowledge.
just,
Knowledge. The tree of life or the tree of knowledge.
no, He never said that was not good. He said all the trees were good. When He created them, He
He
said, and
said.
this
He
one, He
said.
said this was good. This is good.
He said, "Oh, this is I don't know. I don't know.
It
Help
is
me out."
not, I'm quoting, it is not good for man to be alone.
Oh, okay.
So a
All right.
lack of
Oh,
genuine relationship.
oh, okay. Wow.
So now in heaven, obviously, like that's going to be gone. We're all going to have relationships,
That's
genuine
cool.
ones.
So let me ask you this. I think it says in the Bible that like we're not married in heaven, right?
Yeah.
It's the relationships are like what's your take on that? Like kind of friendship relationships and full of love and peace with everything.
So
How do you think?
what well, I don't think like what we're going to have is relationships for sure. And we're going to know who these people are. So we're going to know our spouse,
Hmm.
but we're just not going to be married to them. Like, we're not going to be like, oh, I owe, in marriage, you kind of owe your spouse certain things and like
Yeah, yeah,
they
of
owe
course.
you. But I think we're just going to love them and just have a relationship with them like a regular person would. And like, I think, and I don't know, like the pastor said that, um, like, if there is, he doesn't know for sure, but if there is or not like sexual relationships, like obviously probably not, but if you know it's a continuity of our life, God will probably replace, just like the pets, like replace something with it that
Yeah.
is just as good, or like obviously no better, better obviously,
Better,
because in
better.
heaven
Yeah,
everything's better.
yeah, yeah. I would
And
think.
I
Yeah, I
think
would.
we might not even have time for any of that, because he says the universe is so big and we have forever, so the travel is unlimited. And it says in the Bible that you can never really truly know God, and we're just going to spend our time in heaven learning about Him. And so we're going to travel all over the space of the universe and
Oh
like
wow.
see all the cool things, like amazing things that God prepared for us in the Bible. He's preparing a place for us, for you.
Wow. It's nice to talk about this because
Oh, sorry.
sometimes we lose such focus of what it's going to be because we're stuck here on Earth and our earthly existence and um, we all struggle eat day in and day out, and it just sounds like paradise, like it doesn't get any better than that. And wow, it sounds so beautiful. So
And this little suffering, it says in the Bible, is like a vapor. It's like a breath. So
because
it's
it's
like,
eternity, because we're in heaven for eternity, so this
yeah.
life is like so meaningless, but
hmm
to us being here every day is like going, and as we get older, right,
Yeah.
things come up, problems come up, physical ailments come up, diseases, death around us, sadness, um, it's not easy, and but that's very interesting that it's just like a vapor, just like a that's it
Yeah.
compared to eternity.
Hmm.
Um,
And like, there's only three things that you can do. Like, you can ignore heaven, you can be afraid of death. You can ignore death,
uh-huh.
you can be afraid of death, or you can prepare for heaven.
Wow. So
And
that's what
so I choose prepare for heaven.
I think all of us as Christians, that's what we should do, right? We need to prepare, and they always say that you never know the day or the time when our time is up. That we have to be prepared, right? The earth is going to be what 1,000 year reign on heaven with the New Jerusalem. Is the New Jerusalem going to be here on earth?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So like, we're gonna watch it come down onto the earth. It says in Revelations. That's what we're gonna
Wow.
do.
That's
Yeah.
that's that's amazing. It says in the Bible that the streets will be paved of gold, like a transparent gold that you can see through, and the
Yeah.
pearly. And they always say the pearly gates to heaven, right? And that's they get that from the Bible because the gates are like these nice, beautiful pearly gates.
Hmm.
Um, wow, that's it's amazing. It's amazing. It
I
sounds.
know. I can't wait. Like, yeah, I have a friend that like has a friend that has been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and so he kind of knows when he's gonna go.
Yeah,
And it's like so interesting because you kind of like, some people are like, oh, I just want to go in my sleep. Oh, I just want to not know when and just die, you know? But I
yeah,
actually think this is just my opinion. I think it's like the most amazing gift from God to know that you're gonna die soon, and to just like know that all I have is like 3 months to prepare for heaven. So I'm just gonna let everything go and just focus on just preparing for heaven, just having that relationship with Christ and like having that peace.
yeah.
And it's
I
like, cool.
I I I wish I was like that, but my thing is that I worry if I had that option that are the people left behind going to be okay? And I know what you're going to say to that. That it's God. You got to trust in God to take care of that, right? That if you're not
Yeah.
here, that you know that He take care of it. And I've seen throughout my life so many times where people have gone out of my life where they think the same thing. Oh, what are you going to do without me and everything? And what happens is let life goes on. Everything was fine. God, took care of everything. And but it's hard not to worry, right? That's I think that's the biggest thing for me is if I didn't have anybody that relied on me, yeah, hey, you got 3 months to live. Hey, this is great. Um, you can anticipate it, but it's I'm not there yet. I'm not
But
there.
I think it would give time to your loved ones too to prepare, kind of
Mhm.
like um, talk to you and like really, really get like, deep with like conversations and really get to know you and like remember you. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, I have kids. Obviously, like
it's
I would
different.
be
Yeah.
worried a lot. Now you're making me worry. You got to stop
No, no, no,
that.
no.
You
I don't.
got
I
to
don't. I
stop
don't. I don't.
that.
I don't mean to plant a seed, but I think you shouldn't because you have a big family. You got friends. Including me, and that your daughters would be okay if something ever happened. Because you have all that. It'd be a different story, I think, if you had nobody, you had no family, and then if something happened to you, your kids go into an orphanage or something, and obviously that would never happen. So I'm just saying that from the heart that you're fine. You don't you don't have to worry. But it's hard, and isn't there a verse in the Bible too that says worrying is a waste of time because
Yes.
you don't. It's like you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You're basically worrying for nothing, and it's a complete waste of time to worry about stuff.
It says, which one of you, by worrying, added or took away a day out of your life?
Ah, okay, wisdom.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. So, is there anything else about heaven that we should know about from
Um,
today's sermon?
the
As
best part, no more toxic relationships.
what? What
All
about
relationships are going to be good.
what if people that we've had toxic relationships are up in heaven with us? You're telling me those aren't going to continue?
No. No, no, God would take care of that. Like God would take care of that character flaw for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
because we're gonna have basically like different bodies, different m- mindsets. We're gonna be like more like Christ.
yeah, no more
Um,
sinful because our
yeah.
bodies right now, we have a sinful nature, but
Mm.
no more sinful nature.
Well,
There's um like there's a one verse in the Bible that says like Jesus walked through a wall. So like we'd be able to like walk through walls.
well,
Maybe, because Jesus did it, and he had like that new
uh-huh.
body. Um, yeah, so but we're gonna look a little different. So when Jesus was first risen from the dead, like people couldn't recognize him, and even like the road
Mm.
to Emmaus, like um, there he was just like walking with them, and they were just like, "Who's this guy?" And then like after like he revealed, it's like, "Oh Lord," or like when he first was risen from the dead, like Mary came to like put like perfumes on his wounds, or like whatever they used to put on their wounds, and she thought he was the gardener.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
says. That,
And
wow.
and she was like, "Please give me my Lord's body so that I can like, put some perfume on his." And he's like, "Mary, it's me." And she's like, "Oh." So
Hmm.
he said, "Go run and tell the disciples that I have risen." And so we're gonna be a little bit different. Can you believe it? Like it's gonna be kind of cool to see like how we're gonna be a little bit different. He mentioned that the city that we're gonna live in, he said that there's gonna be technology. I did not like I read through Revelation 21, 9 to 21. I didn't see like any evidence of that, but he's probably just making an assumption because we are living in technology, and how he said that our life is going to be a continuity. I mean, our heavenly life is going to be a continuity of our life here. So he's just like thinking like it's just going to be like incorruptible like technology that
Oh,
we're going
okay.
to use.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think
Let me
that's like pretty much it. But
let me ask you this: do you think that the people who have died before us that are in heaven that they can see us right now, or do you think that's kind of like off the table where they're in a completely different realm and only God can see everything here on earth and see everything going on that they have basically no clue as like what's your take on that? Because so oftentimes I hear people saying, "Oh, my mom's looking down on me," or they'll say, "No, that they can't see anything. Everything is about only God can see everything going on right now, and with everybody's thoughts and their actions and their nature." So, what are your thoughts?
um, well, in the Bible, I think in Colossians, it talks about how um, we might have to pull up the actual scripture.
Hmm.
You asked if we're going to see people, if people that died see us from
Hmm.
heaven. So my opinion on this is actually, something that is written in First John 3, verse 2. We are God's children now, and what we will be has not yet appeared, but we know that when he appears, we shall be like him, because we shall see him as he is. So we're going to be like God. We're going to be like Jesus because Jesus is God. So he sees us on earth. And I mean, I'm not sure we're going to have his abilities, but um, we shall be like him. Maybe it's talking about
Mm.
character, but I think that it could be talking about abilities as well, because in heaven,
Right.
we're going to have new bodies. We're going to have like all these new abilities of being immortal, just like him.
There is a Bible verse that our new bodies are going to be Christ-like. So if our bodies are like Christ, I think my interpretation of that is that we're going to have like the same abilities that Christ did, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
That
so.
we're going to be like supermen and superwomen and celestial beings, or however that we can't, that our human minds can't comprehend right now. It's just like so out of this universe, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's no, it's just incredible to think about. It's just so overwhelming. So
Yeah, totally.
we probably won't have to sleep either, right? We're not gonna have to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, our bodies won't get tired. That's
Yeah.
why it's like we have so much time. That's why like travel is going to be a big thing, because we need to do something. Like, can you imagine?
I want to get your opinion on this. Is like life. Let's talk about Earth for a second. So when you have to like start at the bottom of something and you got to struggle until you make it or you become successful or you go from being a child to an adult or you overcome an illness. And one of the things that happens is that you have an appreciation for life or health or gratitude, whether it's to eat a meal or live in a warm house or being able to work or having physical abilities. Do you think that maybe the lesson that God teaches us is like, okay, you're earthly beings, you're going to suffer. You're going to slowly like die, wither away physically. And then when we go to heaven, we're like in this celestial perfect bodies. And we just have such an appreciation for it because we'll be like, remember what it was like on earth when we were old and I had all that arthritis and I couldn't move. I couldn't look at me. I'm doing backflips and look at me. I can play ping pong like upside down and kick soccer balls. A million feet, whatever you can do. That a lot of that will be such an appreciation versus like if we were like born into perfection, right? If we had like what could we compare it to? But
Yeah,
when we get there, when we have that, we can compare it to our earthly life and our earthly being, right? And I just think that it'd just be such a more grander appreciation, having experienced what we're experiencing now, and when we go there,
I agree. I agree 100%.
yeah, no more like one of the best verses with heaven is no more tears. Uh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a
he will
great
wipe
thing.
away every tear. Yeah. I missed anything, maybe, somebody can like comment or like make another video, like, with our video, and we could have a discussion. But I think that we pretty much kind of covered a lot of it. But
Mm.
this is one of my favorite subjects. So,
Thank you, Yelena. Well said, well done, and until next time.